Recording in progress. We are now live. Okay, very good. Let me just do one more thing here on the side. Can't do much about that apparently. There we go. Okay, and welcome. Okay, let's get started. We're now recording. Silence chat. We're now live. Welcome to the AFT College Staff Guild 1521A East Los Angeles Chapter Executive Candidates Forum. And welcome to you, our guild brethren who are watching live and you who are watching at a later date. We'll be presenting a series of questions where each candidate has the same allotted time for their answers. Please meet your election committee members for these May 22 elections. First, we have Bertha Lopez. Bertha, please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bertha Lopez and I work at Westlake College.
Thank you, Bertha. Next, we have Basric Karabidian. Basric, please go ahead.
Hi, everybody. This is Basric Karabidian, working at this moment, working for district office.
Thank you, Basric. And my name is Mark Berquist. I work in the financial aid office of student services at Los Angeles Valley College, and I'm currently serving as your election committee chairperson for this election of the 1521A. East Los Angeles chapter executive candidates, your election committee members apologize in advance. In order to accommodate everyone and give the candidates time to respond and deliver a personal candidate statement at the end of this forum, your election committee members will strictly manage the allotted speaking time. Basric is our timekeeper. Basric will raise the time card when the allotted time is reached. Basric, if you, yeah, there it is. Okay, thank you. If any candidate goes over the allotted time, your host will mute that candidate at a count of 10. Now let's meet the candidates of the East Los Angeles College chapter of the 1521A. I'll ask each candidate individually to introduce themselves by name and the office they are running for, one at a time. First, the candidates for chapter chair. Can we please have Myra Cruz introduce herself?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Myra Cruz and I'm running for chapter chair of East Los Angeles College.
Thank you, Myra. Can we have Rowena Smith-Crescent introduce herself?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rowena Smith-Crescent and I am running for chapter chair of East Los Angeles College as well.
Thank you, Rowena. Next, the candidates for grievance representative, Andrea Edwards. Is Andrea here?
Yes, I am. Hi, hello, everyone. I am Andrea Edwards. I am running for grievance representative at East Los Angeles Community College.
Thank you, Andrea. And next we have Stephanie Amaya running for grievance representative. Is Stephanie here with us?
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Stephanie Amaya and I'm running for grievance representative here at East Los Angeles College.
Thank you, Stephanie. Next for the candidates for chapter delegate. An announcement, Maribela Magana informed the election committee that she will not be running. We don't yet have her signed statement, so the election committee does not consider that official until we have her signature on her statement, but I spoke to her today and she affirmed that is the case. We're going to move on to Julio Ortiz. Julio, please go ahead.
Hello, my name is Julio Ortiz and I'm running for delegate.
Thank you, Julio. Can we have Rosalba Villalobos introduce yourself?
Hi, hello, yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rosalba Villalobos, also known as Rosie, and I am running for chapter delegate at East Los Angeles College. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie. Can we have Josue Ramirez introduce himself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Josue Ramirez, and I'm running for chapter delegate for ELAC.
Thank you, Jose. Can we have Kevin Ornelas introduce himself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin Ornelas, and I'm running for chapter delegate for East Los Angeles College.
Thank you, Kevin. Can we have Lynn Wood introduce herself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Lynn Wood, and I'm running for delegate.
Thank you, Lynn. Can we have Jennifer Estrada introduce herself? Is Jennifer with us at this time? Don't think so. Okay. Alejandro de la Parra.
Hi, buenas tardes, everybody. Good evening. My name is Alejandro de la Parra, and I'm running for delegate of the Mighty East at the college.
Thank you, Alejandro. And Promise Williams. Is Promise with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Promise Williams, and I'm running for chapter of East Los Angeles College as a delegate.
Thank you, Promise. And Elizabeth Martinez. Is Elizabeth with us at this time? Okay. All right. Thank you, candidates. Now I'll hand it over to Bertha to read the chapter executive job descriptions. Bertha will then deliver the questions to our chapter chair candidates. Please go ahead, Bertha.
Okay, job description of chapter chair duties. Duties include but are not limited to the following: reporting on district-wide and worksite meetings to the membership, to the executive board of the ELAC chapter and the Guild Executive Board. Scheduling regular consultations with the worksite president to discuss current concerns and issues, and represents and or appoints members to sit on worksite shared governance, hiring and selection committees, and requests and reviews written reports from attendees on those committees. Working to resolve member complaints, referring grievances or possible grievances to the worksite grievance rep, consulting with the worksite grievance rep, grievance secretary, worksite president, or executive director on contract inquiries to ensure the contract is being interpreted accurately. The chapter chair also serves as a backup for the workplace grievance rep if the rep is absent or if there is no grievance rep. Additional duties of the chapter chair are listed in the Constitution on the Guild website. Okay, so our first round of questions are for ELAC chapter chair candidates. Myra, we can start with you. What is your vision for a strong union and how will you build a stronger AFT 1521A chapter?
Thank you for the question, Bertha. My vision for a strong union is communication. We definitely need more communication within our chapter, and opening up that line of communication through email, through MailChimp, different types of platforms that we can utilize is one of the best things that I have done in the past 6 months. We have seen an increase in membership and member attendance at our chapter meetings because of that open communication. And transparency is definitely another thing that I have brought to our members. I am able to share out the shared governance reports with our members at our chapter meetings so that they are aware of everything that is going on at these other committees where we have a say, where we have a vote. So definitely that's one of the things that I do see for this chapter. Thank you.
Thank you. Rowena, what is your vision for a stronger union and how will you build a stronger AFT 1521A chapter?
Thank you so much for the question, Bertha. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I want to commend Myra for her efforts in increasing email communication and the MailChimp thingamajigger. That's really awesome. However, I found from my observations and working at the higher level of the union now that I've sat as a second vice president, that there's nothing more important than face-to-face communication and working in lockstep with all members together. And when people are looking at you eye to eye and they know that you're there to hear them, feel them, and see them, they feel more heard, seen, and connected. I found out that building relationships with the Board of Trustees is crucially important, and I'm proud to say that I managed to do that over the past 6 months. So having a relationship with the Personnel Commission Director now, and also having a relationship with the Board of Trustee members has really opened doors potentially for what's going to be happening at ELAC if I am reelected as a member and as the member chapter chair. I want to say that transparency is important. And that's one of the reasons why I led the charge to break down the barriers and the curtains and the iron curtain that we had been under for over 20 years. And for those of you that were here during that time, you know very well what I'm talking about. Our previous leadership had us under lock and key. And I'm very proud that it's my name that went on the letter that went to national to ask for that door to be opened. Also, in light of all that's gone on for the last 6 months with the COVID return to work and all the things that have happened, we've all observed how faculty has managed to get exactly what they wanted, and they got it because they move in lockstep. And so now that I've sat as a second vice president at the higher level, and I've worked with the vice chancellor over HR, I know things that are going to make a huge difference for our membership once I'm reelected as your ELAC chapter chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Rowena. I'm going to start off with you for the next question. What do you tell our members who are concerned about current rates of inflation and receiving the COLA increase?
You're starting with me this time?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. I will tell them this. First of all, COLA is given by the state. It's not given by the district. So it's not an option for the district to give it to us or not. Sadly, it may feel like a raise because you get an extra $50, but the people that really benefit from COLA are people that are making the big bucks already because they're getting 5% of what they make. So if they're making 150,000, 5% of that's a pretty good number. But for the people that are making 45,000, 5% of that is just, you know, it's a little something, maybe a tank of gas, tank and a half of gas. So I say, yeah, we need our COLA and we need the next one coming up in June for 6.8. And we need more steps and we need more than our COLA. And if you read the newsletter coming out of the negotiations team, we have fought tooth and nail not to back down from the district. And they thought we would, and instead we went to the Board of Trustees. And now negotiations has shifted. Are we going to get everything we asked for? No, but we're going to get more than what they wanted to give us from the get-go. And as long as you're making progress, whether it's one step at a time or 2 steps at a time, it's still progress. And so that's what I want to say to the members. We have to stick together and we have to move in lockstep. This is why faculty is still working from home, because they work together in lockstep. And so it's a matter of trusting the people that you elect and electing the people that have a voice and will stand their ground. You have to elect people, whether it's on this executive board or at the higher level, people who have shown and tried and true that they hold the line and they don't back down. All they wanted to give us was COLA. That's it. Well, I'm letting you know now, we're not going to get everything we asked for, but we're going to get more than COLA. And it's not going to be that much longer, and we will make some headway. And that's because we didn't back down. And so thank you. I see your time. I have a lot to say about that because I'm passionate, but thank you for the question.
Thank you, Arena. Myra, what do you tell our members who are concerned about current rates of inflation and receiving the COLA increase?
Thank you, Bertha. Yes, for inflation, I mean, we're all seeing that inflation wherever we go, whether it's food, whether it's gas, we are all seeing it. We're all suffering through it. Just having confidence in our negotiating team that they're doing their job. We elected those members at the executive level because we trust them. So just making sure that we continue to trust our negotiating team and executive board to do the right thing for us and keep fighting for us. I know that we have a really great team fighting for us, and they continue to send out the newsletters and keeping that communication open with us so that we know what's going on behind those doors. I know that I was a part of the BAT team, making sure that our members have that communication. And if they're not able to attend those BAT meetings, that we do represent them and that we do present that information to them when it's given to us. So just being patient. I know that it's really hard to say, especially during these trying times, but being patient with our negotiating team and knowing that they're doing the right thing for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Myra, next question for you as well. How do you plan to fulfill your role if you are elected chapter chair?
Well, just making sure that, we continue to build a strong, working relationship with our members, making sure that, we're stronger together, instead of, just, I don't know, just thinking of the past, just continue to move forward. We don't need to look at the past anymore and what happened in the past and what other people did, just making sure that everybody is aware and just encouraging others to, to work with us, to spread the word, to just continue to move forward. I think that, keeping all of that open and making myself available to members, that, is also one thing that I intend to do. I mean, I've already started that. I created an appointment with the help of one of our delegates. And, I've had a couple of meetings with members through that platform. And it has been working for me to just, send out emails, send out, MailChimp, just keeping everybody, aware of everything that's going on. I've been sending out, calendar information for our members so that they have, their calendar updated when we have that information for them, and making sure that they are aware that they can attend executive board meetings, shared governance meetings, and just be aware of everything that's going on at ELAC that affects us as members and us as employees. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Myra. Rowena, how do you plan to fulfill your role if you're elected chapter chair?
Well, I plan to fulfill my role once I'm elected as chapter chair, the way I always have, wholeheartedly and to the fullest of my abilities. Simple things like the staff retreat that we all expect and we know we're going to get now, that didn't exist when I became chapter chair. That wasn't even something that was ever talked about. I'm very proud to say that I, with the executive board I had at that time, worked really hard to develop that under Marvin Martinez, and now it's a normal thing. We have it every semester, and everybody kind of takes it for granted, like we're going to get it. So those are the things I want. I want to build more activities for members, more united, more walking together. When I handed off, when I went to go take the interim position as second VP, and I was able to hand the chapter over to Myra, being that she was the first delegate, I'm proud that I handed her one in such good shape, because trust and believe, that's not what I received when I got it. So I'm proud that I handed her one where there wasn't any open grievances. There wasn't any outstanding issues that I knew about. Now, if there were some, there was something no one talked about. The grievances that we had when I was chapter chair came and went really fast because we nipped them in the bud. We backed down from no management ever. And so that's what I want to continue, is an environment where people know that they are protected and that they are defended vehemently. The last thing I want to say about that is I look forward to really getting more people involved in doing some of the planning and implementing of activities. I think coming back from COVID is going to be more important than ever, that we slowly but surely start to come out of our offices and come out of our, shells and get back together. I don't like the whole division. I was on campus Friday, and it was like a ghost town. And that's not the campus that I want for us. So there's a lot more to come from that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you to our candidates for responding to the questions. I will now read the duties of grievance representative. Duties include, but are not limited to, the following: understand the need for and willing to receive on ongoing grievance training, knowledge and implementation of Article 22 grievance procedure, including timelines, process, investigation, and documentation, attend regularly scheduled staff guild worksite grievance rep meetings, provide counseling, consultation, training, and guidance to worksite membership, prepare, file, and argue grievance on behalf of grievant under direction of the grievance secretary, present possible arbitration cases to grievance review committee, assist in preparation of arbitrations under direction of grievance secretary, serve as a resource to worksite chapter chair, understand and apply permanent information and updated materials to worksite grievance, and participate in grievance and arbitration seminars and union labor conference. Additional duties may be found in the Constitution on the Guild website. I will now turn it over to Mark for the next round of questions for ELAC grievance rep candidates.
Thank you, Bertha. Our first question will be for Andrea Edwards. Andrea's here.
Yes, I'm here, Mark.
Thank you, Andrea. Okay, thank you. Andrea, how do you plan to fulfill your role if you are elected as a grievance rep? You have 2 minutes to reply. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to start off by saying I am an advocate. I have community organization training through USC. But more importantly than that, I listen. It is not propelling our voice, but our constituents. I think a lot of times we fail to realize that we're humans. And when we have a job discrepancy or an issue, how much stress that means to us and our families when we come to do a job to feed and support our families. I have the ability to kind of mobilize and to empower by echoing the voices of the constituents about what is your needs and your concerns. I am also certified as the Law and Ethics Board of Social Sciences. I believe in confidentiality. I believe in standardizing the process so that you're not just treated with an email, but there's an experience. I believe that your information should not be weaponized against you, that you matter, and that I should provide an empathetic ear, but more importantly, to learn the laws and the processes so that we can discuss what are your wine garden rights, so that I can be there, so that you can trust me with the information and know that I'm not going to go ahead and weaponize that or use that for any kind of misuse. We're people here. And I think the process is, the very first key point of your constitution states under a grievance representative is to understand the need for and willingness to receive ongoing grievance training. I've already positioned myself and built a rapport with our grievance secretary to learn and to build on Article 22. What does that mean for you? To come up with a ticketing system so that I can let you know, hey, this is where we are in this process, to educate and empower you so that it's just not, I'm throwing out this information and I don't know where to go from here. It has to be continuity and standardized processes here. That's what I bring. I have a master's degree in social work, and it's primarily about advocacy. This is what I'm here for, to listen to our constituents and to actually validate your experience, to tell you what is actually a grievable process, what falls under an incident, what does that form look like, how do you access it, right? We hear all these things that people are saying that they're going to do or what has transpired, but think about your experience. Think about the times when you have had to report an issue. How was it handled?
Okay, and that's all the time we have. Thank you very much for your reply, Andrea. Thank you. Now we're going to call upon Stephanie Amaya. Stephanie, same question. How do you plan to fulfill your role if you are elected as a grievance rep? You have 2 minutes to reply. Thank you.
Hi, so one of the ways that I want to fulfill my role as a grievance representative is to create power in numbers. I think that one of the reasons that I'm so passionate to be a grievance rep for ELAC is that I noticed that pretty much the information that we receive as BAT members and, you know, like, it doesn't trickle down to the union members. And that's one of the things that I want to create. I want to make sure that my words represent my actions. So I don't want to just take this position and pretty much hold it for a few years and not really create change. What I'm trying to do is fulfill my role to create change within the classified staff. I think one of the reasons that I want to be in this role is because opposed to other unions, we are not treated the same. And I think that one of the reasons that happens is because we are not united and we're not knowledgeable of the contract and the Constitution. So one of the ways that I can change that is by obviously, you know, creating this for my members and also representing them within the classified staff. Yeah. So that's it.
And thank you very much for your reply. Stephanie, we'll start with you this time. We're going to start with this question. How is your relationship with administrators? You have 2 minutes to reply. Thank you.
I think my relationship with administrators is a relationship that I like to be honest and upfront and pretty much give my perception of the treatment that we receive. Yes, I know that administrators are supervisors, but at the same time, I think that they need to know that, you know, although we fill these positions, we are human, we are struggling. Just like you guys mentioned earlier about the inflation, I feel like that's one of the things that they don't understand. They are on another bracket of, you know, salary that we don't make. So I think that's one of the reasons that I try to be as honest as possible. One of the ways that I did it is by going into the Board of Trustees meeting and pretty much reading my statement regarding that. I think that it's important for them to know that, you know, regardless of how much they say that they support us, they could support us with backing us up too and like being about that raise, you know? So I don't think that I want to say that I like respect them, but I also want to say that I'm being real with you, and I just want you guys to not just say I support classified staff, but back it up with your actions and be about it in order for us to be successful and move up within our education, within our employment. And yeah, that's pretty much my answer.
Thank you for your reply, Stephanie. Andrea, we're going to ask the same question to you. How is your relationship with administrators? You have 2 minutes to reply. Thank you.
Thank you. A part of collective bargaining, which is power in numbers, it really stems from educating our members that your supervisors and administrators it's a relationship where you build it upon rapport. It's not always going to be mutually reciprocated back. However, we are demanding respect. It's not that we don't understand the title of role of leadership and delegating responsibilities. But when that line gets crossed and administrators no longer understand that their leadership style or micromanaging, the behavior that they're exuding is causing tension within their employees, I think it's also an opportunity to educate them on what that looks like and what it feels like. Stephanie mentioned privilege. I think sometimes when we actualize and we get to this income bracket, we forget what it's like to be paycheck to paycheck. We forget what it's like to be demanded a grueling task and not feeling like we're validated or we're acknowledged. I have a healthy relationship with administrators, but I understand that it's a working relationship on, are you seeing our members? We could be friends by being cordial, but I am here to serve the collective. My intentions is nothing more than what my constituents are looking to achieve. I don't lead with an agenda. And I think that's the biggest thing, is holding people accountable. Your title may dictate one thing, but your relationship with people and your rapport is a leadership skill that some may not honestly always have. And it's about empowering them and having an educated and teachable moment. I've sat with our president, Ramon. I've sat with VP Duenas. I've sat with Julie when she was here. She was our former VP. I have a working relationship with deans. And I go and I talk to them and I sit and I advocate and I listen. Healthy communication is, I hear what you're saying, but this is the feeling of my constituents, so that they're not defensive. We have to break that down. And we have to remember that we as a union have come through so much adversity. We don't acknowledge the hurt and trauma we went through, but re-engaging our members, letting you see the results in action, that's what I stand on. And it comes with training and it comes with reading and understanding that research is critical. So my relationship with administrators is solid. I know that I'm here to amplify the voice of our constituents, nothing more. I don't want a backhanded deal. I want you to do what's right.
Andrea, thank you so much for your reply. The next question, we're going to start with you for our next question. How do you plan to support the chapter chair if you were elected? Andrea, you have 2 minutes to reply. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's been a wonderful pleasure working with our current chapter chair. And in that 6 months, we sat down and said, what do we want to see from our chapter? We want to acknowledge that the hurt our members have went through, going through COVID, not actually having the opportunity to be engaged. We said, what is the key thing that we can work on in this 6 months? And MailChimp was a modality that me and the chapter chair sat with and say, if anything, emails are archaic. We're losing the information. I never knew that we can go to the executive board meeting. I never knew what committees we sat on. I never understood what our chapter meetings look like, or organize how agendas go out, or standardize a process of reporting, or having a lot of different delegates sit on different committees so it's not one person assuming all of the information. We have a standardized system. And if we were given the opportunity, working in tandem with an amazing chapter chair who breathes life by action and regaining committee chairs that have been taken over, that's the fight that I'm here for. And I would love to work under a chapter chair who's going to continue to push the envelope, to acknowledge our members saying, hey, we know you were hurt. We know we don't deserve your trust. We want to earn that back. You're not a number. You no longer want to pay your dues. What can we do? We want to hear you. So my whole thing is working in tandem with my chapter chair. I'm hand and feet to the ground with you, whatever you need. And that's what it is. I wouldn't leave you abandoned. So you had to do 2 roles. Currently, our chapter chair has served as our grievance rep and our chapter chair within the last 6 months. And I've seen her fight these cases and win with our personnel commission. So that's all I'm saying. It is a working relationship. It's not one person over a title. No one's worth anything outside of our members. It's you guys who are the power. We're just being elected officials to voice your concerns. I would love the opportunity to continue to work and build out this plan of just bringing you guys back in and creating a hybrid modality. Why would we ever want to go back to just saying one way? The wave of the future and where we're going and what we're demanding from our district is hybrid. So the smart thing is you continue to look at what technology can do. And we talk to our members. We ask the questions. I don't remember a question being posed. Well, what do you think? So the opportunity to kind of work with the system where we're trying to move forward and build working relations and application.
That's all the time we have for the response to that question, but thank you, Andrea Edwards, for your replies. We now turn to Stephanie Amaya. Stephanie, how do you plan to support the chapter chair if you are elected? You have 2 minutes to reply. Thank you very much.
If I'm elected, I would support either of the chapter chairs. I would want to connect. I would definitely want to organize and educate our union members. I wouldn't use technology as much. I think I would use some emails, but I would definitely step away from that because I think that sometimes you have to take it back to how it was before. And I've seen Rowena do it in the past where she was literally walking into every office and talking to every new union member, handing like the, you know, union contract and like letting them know where she was located. I think that worked for me back then. I didn't even know that there was a union when I first arrived, like the first 6 months. So definitely going back to that and just like letting the union members know like why you want to be part of the union, how are we here to support you, how can you educate yourself, and then just create change. As Andrea said, I think, yes, we are elected officials, but the change comes from the union members. So we definitely need them to step it up and to feel like they're part of something, right? Take pride on it. I feel like that's one of the ways that we can support our union because overall it's for all of us, right? The change is to create change within our classified position. So that's one of the ways that I would do it.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you to our two candidates for grievance rep, Stephanie Amaya and Andrea Edwards. Thank you for your replies to these questions. Bertha will now read the duties of chapter delegate. Bertha, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mark. Duties include, but are not limited to the following: to represent members at the worksite through direction of the chapter chair, to develop awareness of the AFT Staff Guild on the worksite and develop rapport with worksite colleagues and administration, to plan, organize, and assist the chapter chair with executive board and chapter membership meetings, to participate in the recruitment of new members and members to the worksite executive board, to build representative structure and assist in a worksite communication structure, to attend consultation meetings with the worksite president to discuss current concerns and issues, to represent the staff guild per chapter chair appointment on worksite committees, to consult with the worksite grievance rep, grievance secretary, president, and or executive director on contract inquiries to ensure the contract is being interpreted accurately, to assist guild members with inquiries, and to serve as a backup to the chapter chair for worksite grievance rep if the grievance rep is absent. Additional duties can be found on the Constitution on the Guild website. I will now turn it over to Vazrik for the chapter delegate questions.
So we have two questions for all candidates for chapter delegate. Please note the list is not alphabetical listed, it's random. So I'm gonna ask the first question, Maribella. I'll start with her. So
Maribella, Vazrik, that Maribella won't be with us this evening, so we can go on to Julio.
Julio Ortiz, so the next person. Julio, how do you plan to fulfill your role if you are elected as chapter delegate? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Yes, well, I've acted as delegate before, and I've learned that since I started it at Southgate, and I found out that there was a union, and I was able to figure out, okay, where's the meetings, and find out where I can make changes there. And I was able to talk to the chair then and see where else we can do. And then I found out more about the union where, okay, what do you need? You can help out each other. And I was able to help with connecting more members at the site. And then I was able to find out more about the actual executive board. And I just wanted to learn more about what the changes are, because they're the deciders. We're a group, yes, but we have to speak up and find out what we need to do to make the changes we want. I was able to talk to many of our members and find out, okay, what do we need? Sometimes it's better just to listen and learn from them, because they have different issues and stuff they need to learn. So I've hopefully fulfilled some of the duties before, and I will continue to fulfill those duties if I'm elected. Thank you.
Thank you, Julio. So the same question for Rosalba. Rosalba, how do you plan to fulfill your role if you are elected as chapter delegate? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you so much for that question. As a former chapter delegate, I have been a part of a group that instituted many firsts on the campus. Our first classified retreats, bringing members together, having books that our classified members could use, amongst a slew of other activities. But I want to also mention to our members that, I've been one of those delegates that's not shied away from unpopular topics. I continue to speak up in different spaces, different places. If that some of you all don't remember, there are a couple of topics that were not popular with respect to an outside agency coming in to our ELAC campus. And although I did receive a little bit of blowback with respect to being so vocal, I continued to bring up those questions. As the former co-chair for the ESGC, I brought up concerns about our classified staff not being able to use those HERF funds. And although the other members did, let me know the reasons why and all types of things or matter of facts, I continued to bring up the question. And I knew that in order to fight for our members, I needed to bring the question up a little bit above us. And last but not least, with unpopular topics, when things that arise within our own e-board, just know that as a delegate, I will not shy away from those questions either. When our current chapter chair decided to perhaps, would be a good idea to meet by herself with the ELAC president, I also voiced my opinion then. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person will be Hozu. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong.
No worries, everybody does.
So the same question, how do you plan to fulfill your role if you are elected as chapter delegate? You have 2 minutes to respond.
So I'm honestly a brand new alternate delegate, and I'm still learning from it. But I think the skills that I bring in is, so we mentioned activities. I think my job was for 6 years to do activities. I know how to contact people. I know how to connect with people, and I know how to connect with different departments as well. One thing that I do think is important too is creating a community. And I think it comes a lot with, my job is not only to represent myself, but also represent the union and also acknowledge our members, acknowledge what they're going through. Sometimes I think we forget, because maybe my office is nice, that it's not going around the same way around there, And so I think it's creating communication, either online, it can be online or in person. I think that having just one idea doesn't work for everyone, especially with COVID. We have to acknowledge that not everybody wants to be in person, not everybody wants to be online. I can create a hybrid method either. I know how our hybrid methods work on campus too, and whatnot. But yeah, I think my biggest goal will be create open communication, because I think that our strength comes from numbers, and we need to work on that a bit.
Thank you for the response. Next person will be Kevin. Kevin, how do you plan to fulfill your role if you are elected as chapter delegate? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you. I just want to mention, I believe a lot in open communication, and I feel like that's something I would want to bring to the union. I know sometimes we hear a lot of complaints about constituents not getting emails from us, but I want to help build out a system where we are able to communicate with everyone, that way no one falls through the cracks. But at the same time, I also want to hear from the constituents and voice their voices. So not do I just want to sit here and have a vote, but I want to bring up issues that are brought up to me, because I believe, like, I'm a classified just as you are. So if you're having an issue at some point or another, I will have the same issue. So why not bring forward your issues to not only help you, but others at the same time? But I also want to build a better community within the union. I do know that our numbers fluctuate with our members, and I feel like we can help that grow by just building better communication. And I feel like I would like to have an open door policy with myself, just in case anybody would like to come to me if I am elected, to voice their concerns. If I don't have an answer at that moment, I am the type of person who will find an answer and will communicate to you once I have an answer. And I feel like that's one of my strengths, is that I won't stop until I have an answer for you.
Thank you, Kevin. The next person will be Lynn. Lynn, same question for you. How do you plan to fulfill your role if you are elected as chapter delegate? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you. I think everyone's mentioned communication, so like naturally, I want to continue that. But I also would want to let people know that I previously had the role as alternate delegate. I was delegate for a few moments when some folks did step down and I was able to step up into that role. I don't have a problem assuming responsibility. I'm not a quitter. I really want to listen to people. So I think communication is great, but it doesn't work if you're not listening to the people who are trying to talk to you. I think that's been an issue in the past that I personally had seen. I've worked for the district since 2006, but only recently, within the last few years, started to become like aware that I need to be involved in this thing that's the union. And so I did step up and ask to be an alternate, and I'm not afraid to step up and ask questions or speak my mind. So I think that's something that people assume because I'm naturally a quiet person, but you shouldn't mistake that for stupidity. I'm definitely ready, willing, and able to assume the role. And I look forward to working with whoever our new chapter chair is. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. The next person is Alejandro. So Alejandro, same question. How do you plan to fulfill your role if you are elected as chapter delegate? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you for the question. My plan is to continue doing what I'm doing now, which is to give the information to our members. I mean, to me, the key thing is transparency. Transparency. People need to know what's going on. They need to know all the information because they have to be able to decide what their decisions are going to be, and how it affects them, because it doesn't just affect them at work, it affects them in their lives, their families' lives. So transparency is key. I would like to continue that and even spread on it. I think we need to be able to allow the members to decide know all the information and decide many of the things that are going on. Personally, I will also continue working in the committees that I'm issued, and I'm not afraid to hold the administrators' feet to the fire. I'm there, and I'm ready to let them know how it affects members and some of the things that we need to change in order to better things for the members. Also, I'm also willing to hold the board's feet to the fire. I'm not afraid to go and ask questions, the hard questions, to our own board members and find the truth and find the information as to why certain decisions are being made and give that information over to the members. So that's pretty much what I would continue doing.
Thank you, Alejandro. And the next person is Promise Williams. Same question. How do you plan to fulfill your role if you are elected as chapter delegate? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you. For the past 2 years, I have served as a delegate, and recently in the last 6 months as a first delegate, and I've been able to assist our members when they reached out to me via email with any questions, and I wish to continue to do that for them, as well as anybody at Southgate that comes up to me to ask any questions that I can answer. And if I can't, I always tell them that they can come back to me, or I'll get back to them with the answer within a few hours, hopefully. But I would love to continue to help plan our staff retreats like I've done for the past 3 that we've had, and also any lunches that we can have together. And yes, that's all.
Thank you, Promise. So we are done with the all candidates for first question. Now I'm going to ask the second question, and I will go the other way around. So Promise, you're going to be the first person to answer the question. The question is, do you feel our guild has made sufficient effort to be transparent with guild membership How will you increase transparency to build trust and communication with members in our local? You have 2 minutes to respond.
I believe they have stepped up a lot recently with communication. Prior to this past 2 years, the guild wasn't very they didn't communicate very well. And I only knew of who was the chapter chair because I myself had to file my own working out of class and start the process in that way where it came back and the the union president had to serve a cease and desist to the dean I was working for. And so I will just continue to send out any communications to anybody that I know does not get it, or have that open conversation at work with my colleagues when it is not, I can't think of the word, but when there's not that many people around that it would get up to the wrong people. Thank you.
Thank you, Promise. Next person will be Alejandro again. So Alejandro, the question is, do you feel our guild has made sufficient effort to be transparent with guild membership? How will you increase transparency to build trust and communication with members in our local? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you for the question. I do believe they have made a very good attempt to be transparent and communicate with the communications. But I think there's room for improvement. One thing I would like is for a little bit more effort for the e-board to be able to go to the locations, different locations. It doesn't have to be monthly. It could be bi-monthly, or maybe, maybe 2 big rallies that we can have as a union to show that support. Because I know we used to have the rally where we had breakfast and stuff, but I think more of that is needed. I do believe it in the technology. I mean, we're doing this through Zoom, so this is very important. But I also feel that the personal touch is needed very much. So that's one thing, and I want to be able to send out on a more consistent basis the information, because even though we have our list of the emails and phone numbers where they could contact the president or the VPs or the chairs, I would like it to be a more continuous basis to inform the members. Hey, remember, this is where you could reach me, and this is the times that I'm available. And I don't think that is done enough. I think we kind of focus a little too much on a little bit more petty stuff, and I would like to be able to expand on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Alejandro. So, Lynn, you are the next person. Same question. Do you feel our guild has made sufficient effort to be transparent with guild membership? How will you increase transparency to build trust and communication with members in our local? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you. Yeah, I think there's been some effort, but of course we can improve. That's part of being human, right? And emails are great, but I'm a person that doesn't do well with emails. So the personal touch is really better for me. If someone stops by my office, if they call me, text me, any of those things are great. I see the need for technology, so I know it does work for people. I mean, obviously we're on Zoom, we need it. But I think we need to focus our efforts more on the hybrid. I think people are using that word a lot, more of a hybrid model. Online is great for some, but some people really need that personal touch. And for me, it would be that open communication so that people know they could always stop by my office. I have the carte blanche to stop by their office. That is really the best, I think. That way you don't get that telephone line of, did you read that email? No, I didn't read that email. What did it say? Oh, I don't know. I didn't get it. Because I'm here talking to you that this is what that email said, okay? So I think a combination would work. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. The next person is Kevin. Kevin, do you feel our guild has made sufficient effort to be transparent with guild membership? How will you increase transparency to build trust and communication with members in our local? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you. As of now, I feel like our union is doing its best it can with transparency and communication. I feel like there's always room for improvement no matter where we are, even with technology. And if we're integrating it right now, there's always room for improvement. I always do my best to try to simplify processes of communication, even within my own office. I help try to ease communication between the other classified staff here. And I think it's always just easier to make it more to the point and concise. So I feel like even if printing bulletins and distributing it in person to others, office by office, just as a way, hey, if you weren't able to make it to our meeting for one reason or another, here is a quick summary bulletin that we can provide you with of what was mentioned or what was going on. Obviously key points from meetings that need to be brought up also. But I just feel like we can always be more transparent and communicative with everybody around. And I feel like if union members do feel like they have concerns about communication, or if they even have suggestions as to how we can improve, I'm always open to hearing that and bringing that up myself if necessary to our own e-board to make it easier and more accessible to everybody.
Thank you, Kevin. The next person is Jose Ramirez. Same question. Do you feel our guild has made sufficient effort to be transparent with guild membership? How will you increase transparency to build trust and communication with members in our local? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you. I think that the guild has done a good job, and I think that we're always, we always have room for improvement, and where we're coming from before and now we have improved. One thing that I do think is sometimes we don't do a good job of creating relationships between our members, and I think that when you see the delegates here, there's 5 of us, there's a grievance and there's a president, and we can always just divide people. We can help like dividing by the staff members and maybe going in person, letting them know, hey, you have a question, come to me. And so they have someone that create a relationship, and that makes them, that gives them ownership of the union as well. I think once we just do one, just emails, I get a lot of emails, and sometimes I miss them. But if you have this person that that reminds you, it makes it easier for us to connect with them, and also for them to connect with us. Let us know what's bothering them and what's going on. I think that we need to do a better job of getting ourselves out there, even if we're not the president or not the grievance rep.
Thank you. The next person is Rosalba. Same question. Do you feel our guild has made sufficient effort to be transparent with guild membership? How will you increase transparency to build trust and communication with members in our local? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Thank you so much. I, along with my co-candidates, also are in alignment. Yes, we have made great strides in communication. I remember as a new member, more than 5 years ago, coming onto the campus and just wanting to be involved and wanting to be informed and reaching out to the then chapter chair. And the process was so convoluted. There was really no alignment. There was really no communication. And so, I wanted to be a part of something that just announced how amazing our union is. Coming from a non-union background, it was so important that people took pride, really honored all of the work that previous union folks had done, having full benefits, having all of these fabulous vacation days, having a Pal Day. I'd never heard of something called a Pal Day. Having a card that you can use, a $1,500 card that you can use and not have to use your own money out of your own pocket to pay the copay for a doctor. Fabulous, amazing. I just wanted to be a part of this thing. And so over the years, communication has improved, membership involvement has improved. We have some of the highest attended meetings, as far as I can recall, in the history of our union. However, COVID did put a hamper on some of these activities, right? We all had to do Zoom or communicate through Zoom. Now, you asked a question, trust and communication. Those are two separate things. So with respect to trust, I think we have a little bit of work to do. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Rosalba. And Julio, you are the next and last person for this question. The question is, do you feel our guild has made sufficient effort to be transparent with guild membership? How will you increase transparency to build trust and communication with members in our local? You have 2 minutes to respond.
Yeah, I feel we have done much to improve transparency, but we need to improve, and we need to improve because since we lost so much time from the past pandemic, we need to rebuild as much as we can of the previous few years before the pandemic. We haven't I don't feel we have communicated face-to-face enough. You do Zoom meetings, but sometimes we're doing other things where we're in work and we can do. Hopefully we can meet again face-to-face and also work together and be more listen more and find out more about us. Because I've worked in IT, so I work at Southgate. I've worked at the corporate center, for work quarters, and even Rosemead. And I see them. We still wear masks. We still have to be separate. 6 feet apart and all that. But then there's the whole thing where we're getting out of this. Hopefully, we can build upon this. We can rely on each other, and we can be more helpful with each other. And trust is built between us already, but I think we can do it better. We can increase it with more communication. We can actually have more meetings or communicate with emails, but also talk to each other personally. Have a way to deal with. I know we can do some functions. They've done the retreat, but we can do other stuff, and hopefully we can be face-to-face meetings, at least we can, or hybrid meetings where we can include some of that stuff with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Julio. So we are done with this part. The questions are done. And as there is no question asked from attendees, I appreciate all the response. And then I'm going to hand it over to Mark to continue the next section. Mark?
Thank you, Vazrik. And thank you to our East Los Angeles Chapter Executive candidates. We are done with the Q&A section of our candidates forum. Now we move on to the candidate's personal statement. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to make a personal statement to your chapter members at East Los Angeles College chapter of the 1521A. We're going to begin with Promise Williams. Promise, please, this is your time to make your 2-minute statement. Please go ahead.
Hello, I work at the Southgate campus, and I have not been able to meet a lot of you, but I would hope that seeing the emails from me, now you can put a name to a face and continue and vote for me to continue to be a delegate at this e-board and continue to plan great retreats and get you guys the books that you guys can learn from, and maybe more in-person lunches. Thank you.
Thank you, Promise. We now move to Alejandro de la Parra. Alejandro, this is your moment to make your personal candidate statement. You have 2 minutes. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to say that I want to continue being a voice for the members. Ever since I ran for delegate, I've always tried to come from a position of a member, not necessarily somebody who is part of the board or part of the union, I guess, hierarchy, however you want to put it. But I always come from the side of the member. I consider myself a member first because of the fact that I want to see things from our perspective. hold people accountable from our perspective. So I want to ask the questions, and I'm willing to ask the hard questions. I want to be able to provide you with the information that I think we all need, and everything that I know. So if I am lucky enough to continue being a delegate, I am the bookstore cashier for Southgate, and I also work at the main campus. So if you see me or you just want to come in and ask for any information that I may have, I'm there and ready to give it to you. I also want to point out that if I am to continue as a delegate, if I were to continue as a delegate, I will continue the work that I'm doing right now, which is trying to. It took me several years, but I was able to get charging for electric cars over at Southgate, and I'm still working on trying to get even more units over for our main campus, because I believe that's the future. I'm also trying to hold the district and the ELAC accountable for our recycle programs, which I think need a very, very strong push to be able to get to where we need to get in order to help this earth.
Thank you. That's all the time we have for the statement. Thank you, Alejandro. Thank you. We're now moving on to Lynn Wood. Lynn, this is your time to make your personal candidate statement. You have 2 minutes to make your statement. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, as I already said, I started with the district in 2006, but I really didn't start with the union until the last couple of years. Even though I've always been a member of the union, I didn't really have the goggles on where I was paying attention. So I think I would just let people know that I'm here, I'm ready, I'm willing, I'm able to step forward, I'm doing it. I'm not a quitter, and I'm willing to listen and bring forward whatever issues I hear. I'm not afraid to hear whatever it is that people have to say. I think that sometimes holds people back is that they're afraid of how it's going to affect them, where I'm really just focused on the person that's trying to talk to me at the moment and not worried about the consequences of what that might be towards myself. I just want the greater good to happen for all of our members, and whatever it takes to do that is what I'm willing to do. You know, I'm not willing to go to jail. That's where I draw the line. But anything else I'm willing to do. So thank you so much. I really appreciate this platform and being able to connect and see everyone at this time. Thank you.
And thank you, Lynn, for your reply, for your statement. We now move to Kevin Ornelas. Kevin, this is your chance to make your personal candidate statement. You have 2 minutes. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I just want to mention I've been at ELAC for 5 years now, 3 as a student worker, moved my way up through that as a program assistant while we still had that. I know recently that changed. And then I was also a CGCA, and I've been a classified for the past 2 years now. So I know the struggle. I've started from the bottom, and I've seen how it works in many different ways and perspectives. I just want to be able to not only just connect with you guys, but also bring up from my own past experiences and help this union become better. Even though I've only been a classified for 2 years, it's very eye-opening to see what happens behind the scenes, because as a student worker, you don't see a lot of what goes into making the campus run. And as classified, it was just very eye-opening. And I'm hoping that with your support, I can help make this a better union.
And thank you, Kevin. Thank you for your statement. We move to Josue Ramirez. Josue, you have 2 minutes to make your personal candidate statement. Please go ahead.
Hello. Thank you. So the reason I'm running for this is because I've been around a lot of y'all. I walked around with all y'all, and I know that there's issues going on, and I think that we need to be a little bit proactive as a delegate. You know, I know that sometimes it feels like the union is not there for me, but it's not that we're not there for it. We need to find out. And I think by us being proactive and us getting to you, talking to you, and getting to know what your issues are, it's how we can help. We're a resource. And at the end, don't forget that all of us here are here to be loyal to y'all, not to the board, not to the admins. We're here to be loyal for y'all. So my goal would be to do that. My goal is to make sure that you're heard. You know, I don't work outside of the union that that has been proactive for the union. We have an MOS, and the MOS, which is the specialist test that we do get differential. That was a program started with me and my other coworker when we were in PD, and we knew we needed something for staff. I always been fighting for y'all, even if you don't see it in our events or whatnot, to make sure that you are included. But at the end, I think that's important. I think my goal would be to be proactive, make sure that you heard and I get to you, because I hear you, and sometimes you just don't know where to go, or sometimes you're shy to talk about it. So it's my job to get to you and make sure that you know there's a voice there out for you. Thank you.
And thank you, Josue, for your statement as a candidate. We now move to Rosie Villalobos. Rosie, go ahead. This is your time to make your 2-minute candidate statement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark. Geez, what can I say that hasn't already been said? A background, what I stand for, what I won't stand for. Maybe it's a little personal information, single parent, Latina, have 2 children, worked my way through the education system, attended community college myself. I consider myself lucky to be in the position that I am, to have the job that I have, to have the benefits that I have. We are the epitome of what our students reach for. And so we need to maintain that standard for our students. If we're in higher education, then we need to be that goal that our students shoot for. And so I will fight for us to maintain that standard for our union, maintain our benefits, maintain our pay, support those that are supporting the increased steps, and ensure that we have proper staffing in our areas. My previous years in the union, I have stepped up, I have stood up, and I have spoken up. And as I've mentioned before, unfortunately, there have been repercussions around that. However, I'm not afraid, and I'm here to tell you, I will continue to fight. Thank you so much for your time.
And thank you, Rosie, for your candidate statement. Let's move to Julio Ortiz. Julio, you have 2 minutes to make your personal candidate statement. Thank you. Go ahead.
So I've been delegate before, and I've been alternate before, but also been recently a co-coordinator, and I've seen the politics work within our county, LA County, and our voices have been amplified. We still need to do apart from our members, we need to communicate with our community, our voting, and our politicians. And I've just realized that we just need to be more communicative, but also show what we are. We're good people and we're hardworking. We don't need other people's saying, "Oh, because you're that you work at this job and you can't you're gonna be only working for 9 to 5." No, there's more stuff for us. We're also family people. We got parents. We got children too. But we need to be more what's the word? More open to what our needs. I feel that we're kind of in between what we want and what we need, and we need to realize that we're part of a whole collective, a whole group, and work is great. We're going to open more and we're having classes and stuff, but we still need to realize that we're like I've seen in different parts of the college that we're still kind of trepidatious, not dealing with the things we need. So I think we can work on that. I've tried to see what we can do, and I'm always open with questions and stuff, and also listen to you guys and make sure that you guys follow the contract. We talked about communication, we talked about transparency, we talked about what we can do for you guys, but tell us, make sure that you guys know what you can do and follow the contract. Read it at least. We gotta emphasize that. I've dealt with many issues before, and
I'm sorry, that's all the time we have for a personal statement. Thank you very much, Julio. Sorry about that. We're now going to turn to Stephanie Amaya. Stephanie, this is your time to make your 2-minute candidate statement. Please go ahead.
Mark, remember Stephanie told you at the beginning she had to leave to pick up her son.
That's right. Thank you again. Thank you so much for that reminder. All right, so we're going to move on to Andrea Edwards. Andrea, this is your moment to get your make your 2-minute personal statement. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I'm just coming from the heart. I'm a mother. I'm an intern pursuing a social work degree. I am a classified. I'm one paycheck away from one emergency that puts me out. I am human. I feel. I would never take this on. It's a labor of love for any title or any clout. I don't even take the personal leave time. I sit at my desk. I'm a team player. Now, sometimes it prevents me from paying as much attention as I need to, but I give everything from a place of rawness and honesty. I studied what a union was, and it is the birthplace for the middle class. That chasm is growing. And when we do not recognize that, although our union has been a phoenix, it has suffered a mighty blow through 2 failed presidents, through COVID. We must acknowledge the indiscretions in order to build. For what is communication and transparency without honesty and integrity? What is a title if collective bargaining means that we have no head? It's us, you guys. I'm a strategist. I look at SEIU getting ready to strike, and I look at other unions like Amazon and the grocery workers, and what are they doing right? We talk about other unions doing it right. We don't need to envy them. We need to strategize and say, it's professionalism. It is a business and it is a community. We have to stand on something and not say, this is what I'm going to do, but look at where we are. Create standardized systems. I'm only asking for your candidacy so that I can actually live an application of what I'm saying. I've done it. I've sued the LAUSD. I've worked with Public School Innovate. I sat with the Board of Trustees and their superintendents. I built a relationship, and none of that was cloak and dagger. It was all open. Why hide any information? It's no relationship that's better for me than it is not for you. So all I'm asking for is to sit here and realize that we can be hurt, but we cannot disengage, members, because it is nothing for us to have a title if we do not come back to the ground and say, I will put work in, even though I've been hurt, I've been bruised, I didn't see the value, but you are not a number. And I'm just saying we have to be raw, but we have to be honest, and we have to stand up again. And I want to earn that from you guys. So thank you.
And thank you, Andrea, for your candidate statement. We're now moving to Rowena Smith-Crescent. Rowena, this is your moment to make your personal candidate statement. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mark. In closing, I just want to say a couple of things. To the members that are listening to me, your union dues are what paid for your union to function. What do you want your dues to be spent on? I'm not knocking MailChimp. I'm not knocking email. I'm not knocking that. But I'm saying to you, my union dues, I want it to pay for someone that's going to go in the ring when it's time to fight for me, and someone that has a proven track record of winning, someone that knows that contract front and back. And let me tell you, since October, I went through that contract word for word. We opened every article. These are the things I'm talking about. Because without those things, there won't even be a union to have communication for. And I just want to commend you, Andrea, for your passion and your articulate, intensity of what you're saying. But I'm curious as to why and where you were the 2 years that you were a delegate, because you were elected delegate 2 years ago, the last time we had elections, and I never saw you. You sat here and said you didn't know about e-board meetings. You never came to them. So I'm a little baffled by that. Don't know where you've been, but I'm sure glad you're here now, because I served as chapter chair and grievance rep for 2.5 years. So I feel that
you failed to earn the presidency.
Excuse me, this is my turn.
Yeah.
This is my turn.
And if you come for me, I'm going to respond. So you failed to earn the elected presidency.
I didn't win the election, but this is not.
You did not. So where was I?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm going to mute both candidates at this time. Arena, can you please finish your statement in the time allotted?
So
you're down to 30 seconds.
My point was simply this. I look forward to, if I win this chapter chair position again, that I have that kind of support. I'm going to look forward to it. And if she wins as grievance rep, I'm looking forward to having that kind of passion. That was my point. Don't know why it's taken so defensively. Don't be defensive. But back to what I was saying. If you know your contract like I do, you know that it's all about getting in there and not allowing administration or anyone else to manipulate it. And that's what I'm not going to do, is let anyone manipulate my.
Thank you. That's your time. Thank you for your comment. We're going to finish with our last candidate. Personal statement. Can we have Myra Cruz? Myra, can you please make your personal closing statement? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark, for that. I did want to say that this wasn't something that I was even interested in. I always thought that I was an exceptional employee, and that's why I didn't need to be part of the union. But being part of a union has been so eye-opening to me. I have opened up communication for everybody, especially the executive board. I opened up to everybody once I became chapter chair, and I said, hey, I am now your chapter chair. Do you want to do this with me? And I got response. That's why we have this executive board now. I was told that I should just move forward with the executive board that I had, and that was all I needed to do. But I replied, and I sent out emails to everybody, and they responded, and they're here with you now. I reached out to other members in other locations, other buildings, other departments to be part of this executive board. I reached out to members that didn't know that they can attend these shared governance committee meetings, and they spoke up. They are here. They're speaking to you every single time we have a chapter meeting. That's what I'm here for. This wasn't something that I planned on, but now that I'm here, I want to continue to have that open communication. In my 6 months, I have been able to, as chapter chair and grievance rep, regain the seat at one of our shared governance committees that was taken by a supervisor. How was she sitting at this seat and nobody said one word? She was voting for us. I regained that seat. I also filed a grievance for a member. I also helped a member reclass. During my last 6 months, I have done a lot, and I will continue to do that and more if I am reelected. And with this, the executive board that you elect, I hope that we can do this union good.
And thank you, Myra, for your candidate statement. This concludes the forum for the part of the forum where we have questions and answers. And now we've done the personal statements from our candidates. We have a few announcements and concluding remarks. First, thank you to all of our East Los Angeles chapter of the 1521A candidates for the chapter executive board. This concludes our forum with the candidates and for these board elections. Now some election announcements. 1521A members will be voting for our local chapter executive board members, for chapter chair, for grievance representative, and chapter delegates. 1521A members will also be voting to send 12 of our members to represent all of us of the 1521A to the National AFT Convention, which is held this year in Boston, Massachusetts. The option for AFT national delegate candidates to provide video statements and written statements is new for these elections and was completely optional for your AFT national delegate candidates. Please note that the candidates for national delegate were all provided the option to make recorded statements or written statements. Written statements provided to 1521A members will be going out to your last known address that the Guild office has on file. Recorded statements from AFT national delegates may be viewed on the Guild website later this week. This chapter forum has been recorded and will be viewable later on the Guild website and YouTube channel for our members. Ballots for this election will be mailed out Tuesday, May 10th by AAA, the American Arbitration Association, which has handled our elections in the past and again for this election cycle. All your ballots must be received by 9 a.m. May 31st, 2022 at the listed post office box in order to be counted later the same day. Your election committee encourages our fellow Guild members to mail your ballots promptly so they may be counted. On behalf of the May 2022 election committee for the AFT College Staff Guild, Local 1521A, we'd like to express our thanks to the East Los Angeles College chapter candidates for their desire to serve the members of our union. My thanks to the election committee members for their service. And thank you, our fellow Guild members, for your time and attention. Remember, you are the union. Thank you. This concludes
Thank you,
our
everybody.
forum.
Thank you.